Hello, hello. All right. I fuck. I it's hey. No, that's hey. This is I guess Steve. I don't know how we're like doing naming stuff, but uh, you know who I am. I guess if you don't, then yay, a new person. Uh, no, fuck. I don't. It's been a year since I've entered the professional world, and I don't feel like I'm doing it right. I it, it feels like every single time I attempt to do something, I've made this leap from being the oldest in the room to immediately the youngest. It feels like the whiplash that I got from, being a senior in high school to a freshman in college, but significantly much like more extreme. I'm dealing with people who are like my parents' age and who are, arguably more successful than my parents, or like in a state of being that more accurately reflects what I want to grow up and become. And they're wrong, or they're objectively incorrect, or something happens and they correct me and I'm wrong, or I'm objectively incorrect. And I was so positioned on my stance that okay, God damn it. Fuck, how do I vocalize this? No, not. Okay. Growing up hard. Yes, we all agree. It can be at times. This feels like the first time in life that I've really had no supporting structure. I don't know where the script goes. I don't know what I want to do or what I want to be, and I feel like I'm finding the rules out as I go, and I've already made a million mistakes, and there's a million more mistakes to make, and I'm freaking out at every corner, and yet I'm somehow doing better than most, and it doesn't feel that way, and it doesn't make sense to me why I feel this way. It's like the idea of the hedonic treadmill, or I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, perils of hedonism. Like the belief that, you kind of get used to yourself, like the things that you do, the place you are in life, the lot that you have, the rock that you stand upon, and you kind of miss what other people are doing, or where they even are. I feel like that's what I'm stumbling into, and I'm looking around, I'm seeing the rock that I'm on, and even though it's a pretty good place to be, I look around and I just don't see where to go next. It's currently 1:12 a.m. for me on a Sunday night. I have work tomorrow, and I am opening up an energy drink to put in some overtime hours on a project that that we're showcasing to a client in roughly 9 hours. In those 9 hours, I have to do a full deploy of the app that we're showcasing. I have to drive to work. I have to attend a stand-up meeting that we're going to have about it. I'm going to hear shit about this project from the other developer on it who doesn't know what I'm doing or how I do it and just assumes it's the easiest thing in the world. And I have to account for the difference between the two, and I have to actually complete the thing and I have to actually deploy the thing. And, I'm choosing to use some of the time that I could be doing for that, for this, for something that I totally should not be doing right now, I guess, objectively, but I need some sort of release valve, I guess. I don't know if what I'm doing is correct. I don't know if I'm making the right steps. I'm taking each day as it goes, and I feel like at the end of every single day, I get this just mess of feelings where it all comes crashing down, and I just have to look at it and say, hey, yeah, I did this correctly. I did this incorrectly. And the correctlies are outweighed by the incorrectlies like 9-1. And I just have to look back at it and I just have to feel like shit. And, this is, like I said, I'm in a privileged position. I am in a position of abundance, and I am in a position of being in a very good state. I know that many people here would kill to be in my shoes. But work is not, I think it's my work environment, honestly, because, I'm not that I feel underappreciated. That's part of it, but I feel like there's always a bone to pick or some other thing to pull on. It's just never enough for anyone. And I like to drown myself in work in order to prevent myself from thinking. And it's nice when I get to turn my brain off and I don't have to think about myself or state I am. But with how it's going, I have these annoying commutes to work where I'm just sitting in my car, and the one thing that I can do when I'm stopped in traffic on Route 18 is think. And I do that for 2 hours a day minimum. And I get to sit in my car and I get to look at the license plate in front of me and I get to think. And holy shit, does thinking suck. I go back over every single little thing that I've done and every mistake that I've made or things that I could do better. And I go into work at 7, 8. I get back at 7, 8, and I feel like I'm not putting enough time in. I'm not clocking in my hours. I'm not bleeding on the stone the correct amount. And my boss is non-technical, and it sucks because he doesn't know what he's signing us up for. He doesn't know what he's doing to us. He leaves. He comes in at 10 o'clock, leaves at 4, 4:30, 5 o'clock, depending on the day. And I'm there when he shows up and I'm there when he leaves. And I feel like I'm just a constant little work mule who's 25 years younger or whatever it is. He has kids my age. And I don't know. Not that I feel like he doesn't view me as an equal. I don't view us as equals. I don't even, if you were to give my workload to him, he wouldn't know what the hell like a variable was. And it just feels so miserable because I can't explain to him. I can't put into words. I can't communicate to him what I'm doing or how I'm doing it. I have to bring out crayons and do little Post-it diagrams explaining exactly what I'm doing or like what blockers that I have or what issues that I'm running into. And there's just this weight about everything that I'm doing that makes me just so filled with anxiety about every single little thing that I do at work, or even when I'm not at work, it just clouds my vision. And that's not the type of brainless activity that I like to shut my mind off with, because in the car when I'm thinking, it's cross-referenced with other stuff. I get this just fault in my brain, this split that just dominates every waking second. And it reminds me of not group projects at school, just this hell, like this vibe that the deadlines are absolute, that the requirements must be met, and that I must sweat and put in the effort for other people to gain the glory and recognition for it, because that's how it goes. That's how the cake is cut. I might be the one doing the work, but my manager gets, the credence, and the accolades and everything else. Oh God, I brushed my teeth before that. I just took a sip and it's nauseous. I'm sure he's laying up in bed with a pillow under his head with his wife, just peacefully sleeping while the people who actually do the work are still up. And I just I feel like I'm putting in my time. I feel like I'm like, this is a rite of passage for any. This feels like something I have to do. And I don't know how to explain that to him. I don't know if he understands what I'm doing. I don't know if he understands how I do what I do. And I hope one day he can realize that, but I know that day is never going to happen. And I need to get out of this banner before he does. My future is not where I currently am. And so me putting in the time here is just ensuring I don't get fired. with the current market and everything in there, it just feels so crushing. And I know my time is being taken advantage of, and I'm selling it for a price that I think is okay and fine, but I know as time progresses, it's only going to get worse, and it's up to me to put my foot down and stop being this, like, not doormat, but this mule that is willing to take on whatever is needed and make the company, $50,000 in a weekend while I get maybe like $2,000-4,000 out of it. It's just, I don't know. I can't. I know just because I said numbers there that actually equate to what I'm doing, I've lost a portion of the relatability that I have among, the Goop chat. But it's when Julia got her job, there was a series of messages that I put in chat that felt inappropriate to put in while so many people are at certain phases. Like there are certain steps in the career path, and I feel like it was just shitting on, not shitting on, but like, here's how to do this A, B, C, and D, and like, Kuro's, I don't want to say inability, but the strikeouts that Kuro has had and that, that she's gone through when looking for a role compared to like myself or Julia, who just happened to stumble in the 1 in 5,000 real job interview that wasn't a ghost job or a LinkedIn scam, just feels like it feels like we're all spinning slot machines for that type of stuff. And we just happen to get 777s before anyone else. And I feel like it's not even indicative of skill. I think, Kuro's a better programmer than me, or, was during the stage of our lives that we were when we started looking. And I had the benefit of being a year ahead, but, it's just all this troubled mess where I wish the best for everyone and everyone wishes the best for everyone else. But it's just so difficult to, I feel like there's a veil of like adversarial advisement. Not adversarial. It's what I'm saying isn't relevant to anyone but Julia, and for me to give advice that are like, hey, don't do X or don't do Y, when Julia just landed a position, just feels so shit. I don't know. I feel all consumed by everything that I'm doing now, and everything that I'm doing now is basically my job. And I feel like it's impossible for me to get out of these walls that I currently confine myself in to, either look for other stuff or just do anything else. Like, I want more passion projects on my GitHub. I want more time to make videos. Not even these, but for, the other passion projects that I care about. It's just been so long. I feel like I got to learn how to throw myself in the opposite direction. But if I do that, I'll just feel like shit about it. And there's this level of, I forget what it's called, the triangle of wants, where you either have the money for something, the time for something, and the drive to do it. And right now I have the money and the drive. I just don't have the time. And I can make the time through stuff like this, like these nights, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m.s, or even the all-nighters. It's just miserable, and I feel so bad. And it's just nothing we can really do about any of this, or all of this, or none of this. It's the state of paralysis that's caused by just having a Sisyphean boulder. Like, the only thing you can do is push. And we have people wanting to be Sisyphus, waiting in line, prepping their hands to push the boulder quicker, but it's going to roll down all the same. And I don't know. As I'm pushing this uphill, all I can say is it sucks, but not doing this sucks more. It's more car time, more time to think, more drips in the hourglass of comeuppance, less dollars in the savings. It's a pressure, and I miss how college was. I miss the freeform ability to just walk around, to be surrounded by more people, to be in such a nice environment and build things that people could actually use and support and be local to everything. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like I'm burnt out, or I'm stuck in a rut, and I just don't know how to go from there. And I feel like the relatability of this is non-existent for the current state of the group outside of like Tony. But Tony's in a completely different ballpark, and Julie's just starting out. But I imagine in like 5 years' time, we're going to be through this little rocky bit, and hopefully I'll post it up with the right amount of employ, just in a little bit of a better spot. But right now, all I can hunker down and wrap this stuff up and complete it as needed. It's just going to be a little bit of a miserable slog until that all gets done. I guess I better get back to work. All right. Well, I don't know what this was or what this is, but I think I wanted it, and I think I needed it. And I hope this makes sense. I don't know if I even want that either. It's just whatever.